And so First Nation people, they went and kind of sifted through these things and like, wow, you know, what is this weird, you know, substance? What is this? What are these things here? This is cool, you know, look at it. It shines in the light. You know, it reflects. Wow, I can see myself in it, you know? And so they started picking up these things here. They started kind of decorating these things. They started putting them all over the regalia. So when they came out and they danced, you know, it looked really good, you know. They could blind people, reflect, you know. The mirror was actually a very great thing that we found as First Nation people, because we were able to send messages and be able to, you know, find people when we needed to with the reflection that came from these mirrors. And so a long time ago, you know, there's a lot of these trackers and a lot of these people who scouted for us, they would have mirrors with them all the time. And so whether it be, you know, a simple flash, 2 flashes, 3 flashes, or a long flash, whatever it was, they developed kind of their own messaging system. And so they would utilize those mirrors, and they would have them, and they would reflect, you know, and send messages instead of having a runner, you know, take whatever, you know, how long it took for them to get that message back. And they would share these things, and that's where these mirrors came from. That's what they were utilized for. But they were also utilized for decoration, you know, to put on there. And we also found an understanding in it. You know, we almost felt that it was a way of protecting ourselves. You know, well, First Nations people, we have this understanding, you know, not only right here in this physical world, but also an understanding outside, sometimes what we can't see, you know, the spiritual world. And so, sometimes when we felt there was a bad spirit or, you know, something that was bothering us, they would utilize those mirrors. So those things could see their own reflection and scare themselves, but also, you know, protect so that it bounces off whatever it was that they're trying to utilize on it. And so that's what those represented, those mirrors. The hairs there, the long ones, with you know, kind of the gold halo or kind of blonde tip, those are porcupine. And so that's kind of like the guard hair around the quills. And so that's something that we utilize. The bottom, the colors, you know, a long time ago you would have more natural colors. And so it's colors that you would get from kind of the plants and herbs around. And so those colors there, that's where they originated from. But the hair that's utilized down at the bottom is actually deer tail hair. And so deer tail hair. And if you look really close to this headdress, you'll notice little small bundles all the way around that are tied. And so these hairs here have their own row. The long hair has their own row. There's actually 2 rows of the long hair, and then there's another inner row of the deer tail on the inside, so blue color on the inside. There's a story for everything. But that piece there originated from a young man's, you know, kind of misbehavior. You know, they said a young man, he wanted to be a warrior so bad, you know, he wasn't old enough. But he wanted to partake in everything that was happening and wanted to be part of this elite group. So this young man, you know, before his time, when he wasn't ready, he wanted to prove himself. And so he went ahead of a war party that was about to attack, and he wanted to go sneak up on the enemy. And he wanted to go and count coups. Count coups to go up to an enemy, meet them face to face, touch them, take something from them, and walk away unharmed. And so this young man, he wanted to do that. He went off ahead, and he tried to sneak up on the enemy. But as he got close, without him understand or knowing, the enemy started to surround him. And all of a sudden, when he did realize it, he was already surrounded. And he sat down in the middle of that floor there, and he started to cry, he started to weep, he started to, you know, he started to say, I'm sorry, you know, I'm sorry, please help me, Creator, you know, I'm sorry, I should have listened. And so as those enemy warriors were starting to close on him, he was there, he was crying, and he was at his last bit there. They said there was this porcupine that came right up to him. That porcupine looked at him and started laughing. He said, hey, what's wrong with you? this young man, he told him the story, and that porcupine started laughing. He's, got the porcupine said, hey, you could take this hair off of my back, disguise yourself like me, and we could escape. He said, I walked past those enemies right there, they didn't even look at me. So that young man, as a last resort, he grabbed some of that hair and kind of went like this, got down. And if you can imagine, a long time ago, that grass was probably quite a bit tall. They didn't have lawnmowers in that time. I think there was a Home Depot or anything available in that time. And so this young man, he disguised himself like a porcupine. Sure enough, he was able to escape that situation. He came home and people were surprised and they asked him what happened and he told them about what this porcupine did for him. And so this young man, he fashioned something similar to this. They started to wear something like that. And today that story kind of still stays with us. That's what we've been told, those are the stories that were shared with us. And so to honor that porcupine, we wear this headdress. So there are many different species of hawks that we utilize. My bustle, there's also some red tails from red-tailed hawks. Many different variations. And so this kind of bustle that I wear, which you see on the back, which is a bundle of feathers. This is called a crow belt. And again, we have many different styles of bustles. We have this type of bustle. We also have a bustle that's kind of in a round circular shape. And that type of bustle is more common that we'll see. And so again, they talk about this bustle as being a battlefield. And so all of these different warriors battling on the outside, sometimes there's different colors in there to represent many different things. And then on the bottom of that bustle, you have a trail that's split into two, like this here. And they said that was similar to what you would see on soldiers today with their medals right here. And so it was kind of like their war deeds or what they have done. And so again, it was the stature of the warrior that would be seen on those trails. And so when a warrior would jump on a horse, these two trails could be seen from either side, one side of the animal or the other side. And so that's why it was split like that. And so that's what that bustle represented, that's what those feathers were. And so the feathers sometimes are fashioned in different ways too, depending on that person's stature. Sometimes feathers were dyed red to symbolize that that person had killed in battle or in war. Sometimes they were cut in a certain way, saying they were wounded. Sometimes there were spots on those feathers, sometimes different things, that kind of, you understood a little bit about that person. So when you seen that warrior, you could see, oh, wow, man, this guy's, I better stay away from this guy. I'm going to go over here, fight this one over here, And so that's the way it was, long ago. And so that was a little bit about the bustles and the feathers. Up on top here, these two here, as you can tell, they're a lot bigger than these ones here. And so again, these ones on top are eagle feathers. So amongst First Nations people, these are kind of the more higher regarded, more prized possessions because of our understanding of, the eagle and its purpose in our way anyway, as it being the messenger, understanding that it can fly highest than most birds, most things. And so we understand that these birds can sometimes help carry our prayers to the Creator. And so again, these birds were special in that way. And so again, to earn feathers, there's many different accolades that people will receive these things. And so again, some of the work that I have done throughout my lifetime working as a resource personnel for the city of Saskatoon, dancing on the many different stages, like, I've danced at 3 different Olympics. I've danced at many different places where, I was honored because of some of my background and history. And so feathers were given to me over time, and so I have an accumulation of feathers that I have stored away. And sometimes I wear those feathers like these two. So again, the 2 eagle feathers that I have. When Hitler made this kind of this terrible symbol that is known in public today, they took the symbol, he enclosed it, and he tilted it sideways. He took away that spirit. He also flipped it around. He took away that spirit and understanding what that meant. This symbol here that I have on my regalia was a symbol of the 4 directions, whether it be the wind, it be the water, it be the tobacco, the medicine, the herbs. It was a representation of the 4 directions. and to always have and be in harmony, and to be in balance. And so that's why it turns the way it does. In my hand over here, I have a tobacco pouch, a pipe bag. It has many different names. I think even in these contemporary terms, they call it a merce, right? And so in my tobacco pouch, my medicine pouch, you know, I have different paraphernalias in it. And so I'll have my medicine, my herbs, you know, I have little salt crystals in there, you know. You know, we have different medicine for different reasons and purposes. You know, we've had an unseasonably hot, dry winter here in Saskatchewan. And so at a lot of celebrations, I find myself having like dry mouth blocks. And amongst our people, we have these salt crystals that we gather from lakes that are real salty. And we utilize those salts in our mouth to get our mouth salivating again. And so I have salts in there. I have different herbs that I put in there. I also have tobacco. I also have a pipe, different things in there. Sometimes I have my cell phone, I have some gum, I wear bells, I wear different types of leathers, I wear different types of pelts, you know, for many different purposes. I wear Otter to bring good fortune of water and rain, you know, just like we've had that drought here. You know, that's the constant battle for us in Arizona. You know, we're very farm-worthy, cultivating people, and so a lot of our life comes from our farms. And so to always try to look for that good fortune and ask for those good things is what those purposes were for. And so again, that's why I wear all the different pelts. Majority of them are on me. So for that purpose, because of the belief that we have in it as it being a water animal. So, well, I think I covered as much as I could in the time frame that I had. I wish I could stay here all day.